Hi, my name is Emmanuel, and the main topic I'll be refuting is the MLDA is ineffective and bad for our society. The arguer has three main claims. First one being, the drinking age limit is ineffective and does not do its job in stopping underage drinking. While this claim states that the MLDA has been ineffective, the total amount of alcohol consumption by those below the minimum legal drinking age has significantly decreased. According to the Federal Trade Commission, Consumer Information, since Congress passed the National Minimum Drinking Age Act in 1984, drinking by high school seniors has fallen from 66% to 42%. Binge drinking by high school seniors has also fallen from 37% to 24%. A review by the U.S. General Accounting Office found that raising the drinking age reduced youth drinking, youth driving after drinking, and alcohol-related traffic accidents among the youth. To say that drinking age limit is completely inefficient while showing statistics disproving this is nothing but an inaccurate statement. The second claim being that because of laws in place, underage drinkers are in a position to develop bad drinking habits. However, without drinking laws, the levels of bad drinking habits will without a doubt skyrocket. Drinking laws are set in place due to the dangers that alcohol possesses and the responsibility it comes with it. With some restriction to alcohol, it will prevent a greater percentage of DUIs as well as other consequences that are related to irresponsible drinking. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, those below the age of 21 are more likely of death from alcohol poisoning, negative changes in brain development, and are subject to unintentional injury. If there are no restrictions on this dangerous substance, the accessibility of alcohol to preteens will be easier than ever, and there will be the streets will be less safe, and the total amount of alcohol-related health issues with the current number of 150,000 teens will increase in the near future. The third claim states that the underage drinkers have no choice but to imbibe privately. This is problematic because it forces them to drink in places where there is no supervision, and with teens under the influence, bad things are bound to happen. The claim itself demonstrates that why there should be a minimum legal drinking age. With no MLDA restrictions, teens will be able to drink legally in a private and/or public setting, and like the claim mentioned, with teens under the influence, bad things are bound to happen. A serious issue that is linked to alcohol, as the arguer mentioned, is sexual assault. Even at a public 21 and over bar, club, or party with security around, sexual assault is committed. And according to Cal Poly's San Luis Obispo Health and Counseling Services, roughly 90% of all reported rapes and sexual assaults occurred when alcohol had been used by either the attacker or the victim. 55% of females and 75% of males involved in acquaintance rape admitted to using alcohol prior to the incident. This is the same piece of evidence used by my opponent, but what he failed to mention was that the NIAA, which is the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, statistics relate to college students between the ages of 18 to 24, therefore making his claim invalid due to the evidence of legal alcohol drinkers committing these actions. If 18-year-old teens are already showing signs of destructive and inappropriate behavior under the influence, on the contrary, drinking laws should be even more severe than today's MLDA. Are the consequences of the elimination of MLDA worth it? Are the higher chances of one being sexually assaulted at a younger age really worth the abolishment of laws? All this can be avoidable to a certain extent, but going toward taking away the legal drinking age is only asking for more consequences. Can you really trust teens to act responsible under the influence? Thank you.
Thank you. That's all right. Well, we know what the general subject is, and then you dive right into the first supporting point. There's not really a preview of what those supporting points are. That's not too big an issue, although it probably would help maybe organize some of the things that come up later. You go right after that first point about the effectiveness of the laws, and you have some data that suggests that, in fact, since the change in the MLDA, that it has effectively reduced consumption, it has effectively reduced the amount of time that people are driving under the influence, and you've got good data there. I don't know what evidence the advocate used to support their position. You don't really talk about their argument in any depth, so there's not a discussion of how they reached their conclusions or the grounds that they used. We basically are relying on counterclaims on this point. On the second point, on the people with the driving issues, I'm sorry. Oh, well, it is mostly driving issues. You got the CDC study that you're talking about, and there's a general argument about accessibility and how that's likely to occur. Then there's also the general stuff about brain development and all those kinds of things. It sounds like your argument again there's one point where you suggest, I'm not sure if it was on this point or the later point, where most of the harm occurs in an age group that would already be able to legally drink, and you're suggesting that it would be worse if we lowered the MLDA. I think you need a little bit more information to suggest why decreasing the MLDA would have more severe consequences, what would make it uniquely harmful. The idea that alcohol is associated with a variety of particular problems, I think most people are willing to accept that. The question is, would it be worse if people who are younger were allowed to drink? And your general position seems to be, well, they're teenagers, they're pretty damn unreliable to begin with. So yes, I think you need something a little bit more than that. The sexual assault information on the third point is fine. Obviously, alcohol is involved with a lot of problematic behavior. And the more general response that you have at the end, I think, is probably an effective one that suggests, look, alcohol is a social problem. We're not willing to abandon its use. Maybe that doesn't work very well, but we don't want to make things worse than they are, and so we have to have some restrictions. And your argument is that this is basically kind of a minimal kind of restriction. It's having some benefit, and so therefore it ought to be seen as being appropriate. That sort of summarizes what your argument is. I think I maybe gave it a little bit clearer statement than you had, but that's basically what it comes down to. All right, thank you.